Alright, how you doing today, YouTube? I'm back, and I'm gonna talk about a few articles I found. The first article that I want to discuss is a article on the Daily Observer that talks about beginning of early January at Fort Irwin, California. There's going to be exercise involving Canadian troops working alongside U.S. troops. Apparently, they've brought over 750 military vehicles to Fort Irwin to prepare for the exercise. And the article says that there's going to be 3,700 troops involved. Now, it was only back in October that they had Urban Shield. And Urban Shield was an event that involved the French raid team, Secret Service, I believe, and Coast Guard police, something like that, and a bunch of different police departments. The thing that was different about Urban Shield from the previous ones before it, they've been doing it for a couple years before. It takes place in Oakland, and they do terrorist drills and bank robberies and whatever else, active shooter drills. But the thing that was different about it this year, last October, was that they brought the French SWAT team over to participate. Yeah, so that's kind of strange, Only in America, right, can you tell people that there's foreign troops on their soil and it's okay and everything's safe, right? Only in America. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to discuss was I found this New York Times article dated December 18th that talks about the U.S. to make stopping nuclear terror a key aim. That's the title. And what they're talking about here is how the Obama administration has decided that they want to make it a central aim of the government to stop nuclear terrorists, dirty bombs, suitcase nukes, whatever. The article says that when completed next year, the Nuclear Posture Review will order the entire government to focus on countering nuclear terrorists, whether armed with rudimentary bombs, stolen warheads, or devices surreptitiously supplied by a hostile state, as a task equal to the traditional mission of deterring a strike by major powers or emerging nuclear adversaries. Okay, so what they're saying is instead of worrying about things like a foreign army invading or being bombed by a foreign government, a foreign military, we're going to worry about things like, is that guy walking down the street, does he have a suitcase nuke? That's what they want the government to focus on now. So this is how we're going to be protected now. The article then goes on to say the nuclear review will affect how warheads are developed by the Department of Energy, deployed by the Department of Defense, and limited through negotiations by the Department of State, as well as how the intelligence community and the military do their jobs and spend money. This is the key part. Money. And it goes on. That could mean, for example, devoting less money to modernizing bombers, missiles, and submarines and more to surveillance satellites, reconnaissance planes, and undercover agents. So, while the rest of the world builds up their military stockpile of bombers, missiles, and submarines, we're going to be reducing spending on that, right? And we're going to start spending money on surveillance satellites and undercover agents, men in black, people to patrol the streets and look like regular people and keep an eye on everybody to make sure nobody's got a nuke in their backpack. That's what they're saying here. And it's interesting. The first part I read you, where it says, when completed next year, the Nuclear Posture Review will order the entire government to focus on countering nuclear terrorists. Well, the countering nuclear terrorists part actually leads to another link on New York Times, which I'll give to you if you want to look at it. And it basically goes over all this information about how Pakistan is this security disaster, basically, and they have nuclear capability, and they apparently, they just talk about how basically Pakistan has the capability to produce nukes, and they have terrorist sympathies. Okay, and one part that kind of got me in that article was it said foolproof is most likely not the word Barack Obama would use to describe the status of Pakistan's nuclear safety following the briefings he has been receiving since November 6th. All right. Another part of that article says that there was some scientists that they're worried about that have terrorist sympathies. So yeah, I mean, I think it's all propaganda. I mean, Pakistan, they're the ones who wired the money to Atta. I mean, it was the ISI general who was having breakfast with Senator Bob Graham on September 11th. The Pakistani ISI chief Mahmoud Ahmad, and I'll post a blog about that. You can look through all the information yourself. So they're saying that the people who sent money, the government who sent money to the terrorists who attacked us on 9/11, the ringleader, Mohammed Atta, they're saying that that government, they're now concerned about them being a nuclear threat to us, as in dirty bombs and suitcase nukes and whatnot, and therefore we need more surveillance state. That's what's going to protect us, is watching everybody in our society. We don't need submarines or military equipment. No, what we need is surveillance. So that's what they're proposing here. So yeah, I'll post all these articles. You can check them out yourself and post replies, post comments, whatever. Let's get this discussion going. Let's stop being the ignorant sheeple that they want us to be, and let's just start talking. I mean, it's as simple as that.